Hey everybody, One of Wisdom here, 10:47 p.m. Wednesday, January 8th, 2014. We have introduced the remainder of our Series 2s and Series 3. Started out, we went down Big Bang Trigger Happy, Heavy Duty Sprocket, Super Gold Pop Fizz, Twin Blade Chop Chop, Phantom Cinder, who I call Phantom Dash Cinder because everyone else seems to have two adjectives before their name. And that is the case with Hyper Beam Prism Break. That's who we're going to introduce here in part 52. He is currently the toughest Wave 3 character to find core. We're speaking core characters, meaning regular size. Reason for that, he ships 1 to a case, so you're going to have your store get multiple cases in to have multiple Hyper Beam Prism Breaks. Later on down the road, that's probably going to change. You'll probably see him, in like a 4 to a case at some point in time. But for the time being, kind of hard to get this guy. So I got lucky, got him at Toys R Us. I got one in. Of course, every time I order anything, you should know this by now. Now I've drugged some of you into it as well when I try to be helpful and tell you things are available online. Didn't think I'd be able to get him locally. I figured they'd be crazy. I mean, it was December 22nd. I don't like crowds. I don't like shopping in the first place, but I just figured I'd miss out on them. And I thought, they're online at Toys R Us. I should just order them, be done with it. I did. And then I went into Toys R Us the day after Christmas, and they had all of the Wave 3 core characters, which of course I didn't expect. I was ecstatic. I bought them. I came home, and I went to cancel my order, and it had shipped. Same thing now has happened with the Wave 3 swappers. Somehow landed 2 of them at Target. I mean, count me in like the 5% of America that got that lucky. But they totally botched that. I'm not mad at them, but it just... the principle of it all, if you've got an exclusive window and you don't have the product to sell in your local stores, and you don't have it like at your central warehouses or your main facility to actually sell online, that's just a complete screw up there. The good news now, their exclusive window from Target is completely gone now. It was the 29th they were to get the swappers, and they came up on Amazon Monday, which was January 6th. That was roughly not even a week, basically 8 days or so. Toys R Us now has them, apparently in large quantities. They also have Shipwreck Island and Arcane Crossbow Battle Pack and the Light Core figures. And I have ordered everything but the Light Core figures, and of course they've shipped, and there's nothing I can do about it. So, since it's from, I don't really like to return stuff, and I have to pay freight. That probably seems cheap, but bad things can happen. It can be lost, you never know what's going to happen. Amazon's pretty awesome on returns, but I'm supposed to get everything I don't have tomorrow outside of the Light Cores Countdown and Whamshell, which I'm hoping I can get tomorrow at Toys R Us. If not, I'm going to run into GameStop and see if they can hold me some from the Saturday deal, I guess, when they release everything. But don't want to spend too much time on that. But what I'm trying to get at, Hyper Beam Prism Break was only at Toys R Us. Now you can get him at Toys R Us. Amazon's got him. He's actually been in stock pretty much all day today. I don't know if it's because people gave up or something, but every time I check, he's been up for $9.99. GameStop should have this guy Saturday, January 11th for their Skylanders Day, probably in limited quantities. And the other thing with GameStop, they tend to get everything into the distribution houses and then reapportion it, so I don't know what they'll do there. But bottom line, don't pay the scalpers. If you really want this guy, you'll be able to get him pretty easy here in a couple of weeks or a month out or something, and better off to spend $10 on Hyper Beam 2 months down the road than it is to spend 40 on him right now. So keep that in mind. That said, we're going to can all that crud and just get to the action here. As you should know if you've watched anything I've done Skylanders related, I am a huge Earth Element fan. We've currently got Hornblast. She's also hard to find, almost as hard as Hyper Beam. We're going to pull Whirlwind. I thought her wing was broken for a second. We're going to stick Hyper Beam Prism Break. His figure looks awesome, especially if you're a fan of red. I prefer blue and green myself, but this actually looks pretty cool. So I'm excited to see what he looks like box stock. I'm thinking he probably won't have the red box stock. I'm guessing it'll only be Wow Pow time, but I don't know for sure, so we're going to find out now. This is his very first time on the portal, so let's check out his animation.
The beam is supreme.
Ah, Cloudbreak Warriors, got ourselves an accolade there. And I guess nothing. Okay, his artwork there, Hyper Beam Prism Break right above there, he's got the red, but as he came on the screen, and then of course here at the training grounds, he does not have the red just yet, so it's probably going to be limited to the Wow Pow. That said, what does he look like when he jumps? Just kind of throws his hands up in the air, kind of like the trigger happy mechanic, if you will. Gets fairly good air for a big rock golem guy. Primary attack is going to be the energy beam. Big fan of this one. It's just completely unique. 39-26. I'm holding Y down. That's as long as it lasts initially. Secondary attack, I feel sorry for the dummy. It is called Summon Crystal Shard. And you see what it does. It hits in 53, and then you can kind of chain that. You can have two going. Let me try to get over here. I'm going to get it in time. Anyway, you saw how it wide off there. You can eventually chain these like crazy. It's almost like Laser Wars I used to play from a floppy disk. But let's go ahead now, come in and take a look at his bio. We're going to go to Collection, cycle to Spyro's Head, 102 Skylanders now, 12 on the Earth element. We're going to select that. He should be at the very end here. I've figured out how they do this stuff. There's his light core figure. I didn't put anything else on, but there's Rubble Rouser and Doomstone. So when I introduce Rubble Rouser, he should jump and be on top of Doomstone if anyone cares. But right here is Hyper Beam Prism Break Series 3 slogan, the beam is supreme. Let's take a look at his story here. Really cool artwork there. It's almost like a mossy fern type thing growing on his rocky body. I don't know how to word that. Anyway, Prism Break was once a fearsome rock golem who didn't like to be disturbed. I can relate to that. Then an accidental cave-in left him buried underground. 100 years later, a mining expedition digging for valuable jewels discovered him by chance with a well-placed pickaxe blow. Something Prism Break doesn't like to talk about to this day. After 100 years of solitude, he found the pressure of the earth had transformed him emotionally as well as physically, turning his crude rocky arms into incredible gems with powerful energy. Grateful for being free from his earthly prison, Prism Break decided to put his new abilities to good use and dedicated himself to protecting the Skylands. To this day, one of the battles I enjoy the most was the rock golem, but we'll go ahead and back out of here. Prism Break to me kind of ties in with like Stump Smash. He's just, those two are kind of what the series is all about to me. They're extremely unique. They look great. They've got their own unique attributes and attacks. It's just kind of a, you know, for me, it'll probably always be like a quintessential character, if you will. That said, we're going to back out of here, go into Skylander, take a look at his stats.
Looking strong.
Feel like he doesn't look quite as crisp as I would prefer him to. But anyway, max health is actually 290 box stock. The plus 30 is because it's Wednesday. Speed 35, he is sadly not the fastest character, and sadly, without the heroics that we're all accustomed to in Giants, there's not much we can do about that. Armor 18, he'll take a big boost here shortly with crystalline armor. Critical hit 7, elemental power, he is up 56 from the box stock statistic of 25, sitting at 81. Gonna back out of here now, come in 2 upgrades. He's got energy beam box stock, press Y to fire a powerful energy beam. There you saw what it does. Summon Crystal Shard. Press A to summon Crystal Shards to smash enemies and refract your energy beam. So you saw, I think it was, what, 53 damage when it fell down. That wasn't even a direct hit, it was just kind of by it. First purchased upgrade, Super Crystal Shard. Summoned Crystal Shards are bigger and do increased damage. Second purchased upgrade, this is really nice, especially in like a close quarter situation with a tougher enemy. Press X to summon a damaging ring of crystals all around you that pushes back enemies. Key there is it pushes back enemies. What's not mentioned, it does really good damage, particularly if you're still box stock, you don't have like all of his paths or anything. Use this when enemies start to approach you, it knocks them back, and then you can set up, hopefully summon a crystal shard on them and then hit them with your energy beam. If they approach again, do another crystal eruption. Third purchased upgrade is Emerald Energy Beam. That's a key that you see emerald there because it's green. Energy Beam attack does extra damage. I'll tell you why emerald is important here shortly. Final purchased upgrade before you pick a path is called Change Refractions. Split energy beams divide again if they pass through a crystal shard. More on that here shortly. Now, with Prism Break, you've got two choices. You can go Crystallier or you can go Prismancer. Crystallier is the top path. It begins with massive crystal eruptions. Crystal eruption attack does increased damage and covers a larger area. This, of course, is his tertiary attack. So we're right now addressing the tertiary. Coming in, you've got triple crystal shard. Summon 3 crystal shards at once. This, of course, is his secondary attack. So you've addressed your tertiary, you've addressed your secondary. Now, you remember I mentioned he'll get a boost in armor with crystalline armor? That's what this is. Sadly, it is tied in with a path, but it is a big boost. It's actually what you saw on like the back of his Series 2 standard pose. Looks really cool in my opinion. A new crystal increases Prism Break's resistance, or armor as I will continue to call it. Initially, Series 1 I did that. I think I took my Series 2 down Prismancer, and then I think I took Light Core down the top. I'm not 100% sure what I did. I feel like I did both, but the issue I and so many people have comes when you take Prismancer, because things aren't blue and green anymore, or emerald. They are yellow or gold, and aesthetically that doesn't please some people. It begins with Golden Diamond Energy Beam. Energy Beam attack does even more increased damage, which is awesome, but it's also going to be a yellowy gold color. Second one is Triple Refracted Beam. Energy Beam splits into 3 beams when refracted through a crystal shard. Final purchased upgrade down Prismancer, Focused Energy. Energy Beam attack has increased range. This really it's one of those things, if you've done Prismancer and you want to do the top path now, Crystallier, or if you've always done Crystallier and you want to do this, not a big deal. But if you've done them both, or you're a stickler for aesthetics, you kind of have to factor in, Prismancer is going to be gold and Crystallier is going to be like your emerald color. That said, right here, Shard Soul Prism, that is his soul gem. Crystal shards form when enemies are defeated by your energy beam. Obviously, when you defeat enemies with your energy beam, the shards form and they allow you to refract your energy beam off them. Then as it chains and defeats more enemies, you can basically get into a deal that looks like a grid. If you've got an enemy heavy area, it's pretty impressive when done. That said, his Giant's WoW power, I remember it was like the pulsing energy beam or something. You could like hold A down or something and it would deal more damage. This time around it's called Crystal Comrade. Press Y to shoot crystal shards and gem shrapnel. Press Y to shoot crystal shards and gem shrapnel. Okay, they didn't word that quite right. It should be press Y to shoot crystal shards and gem shrapnel will explode out. The will makes a big difference there when you read it. Damaging enemies and looking cool. Issue I have is like, when does he turn red like the figure? Is that just only when he does the WoW POW, or what exactly? The reason I have issue with that, to me the superior path is the top one because of the armor. Plus it addresses the secondary and the tertiary. Plus the energy beam's not too bad box stock. But the main thing, and you've seen me say this since SSA, armor. If I can get speed or I can get armor, when I'm in doubt of which path to take, that sways me. Unless it's like an exploratory second, third figure type situation. If this was his first appearance, I would be going down Crystallier because of the crystalline armor. Reason I say I want to know when he turns red, like if I get the WoW Pal, is everything red? Are the shards that I summon going to be red? Is the energy beam going to be red? Because if that were the case, I might be inclined to actually take him down Prismancer, because I think it'd be cool. Again, personally, I prefer his box stock look in the Emerald Energy Beam, which you see right here. But I wouldn't mind seeing that in red. It would actually look pretty cool. Again, I'm not a huge fan of red. Definitely not a fan of gold or yellow. It's one of those things. I don't know. Let's see. Unlock super crystal shards. You know what I'm going to do then? Where is that? That's like your first one. Okay. When I upgrade this guy, first thing I do, obviously, is going to be right here. The first purchased upgrade, super crystal shard. But then, the next purchased upgrade I make is actually going to be his WoW Pal. Just because I want to know at this point, which is great that it's his first purchased upgrade, I want to see if everything turns red or if it's like only when he's... It's just hard for me to picture it, and the box art doesn't really help because everything looks like it did for Series 1. But that would actually change my mind a little bit. But if he was my very first time to have Prism Break, I would do what I did in SSA. I'd take Crystallier. You got your secondary, you got your tertiary, and you got the armor. So, plus then the Soul Gem kind of comes in handy. It kind of makes up a little bit for not having Prismancer. But in all honesty, you can't go wrong with either path. Both are unique. They're both visually impressive. And obviously, a lot of you, if you like yellow or gold, it's a non-issue. But I remember, I guess last year, Cassie sent me like some comic book, and a dad was really proud. He'd like upgraded his son's Prism Break, and the kid was really excited, and then he saw that he took Prismancer and he didn't like the color and he was bummed out. So a lot of truth to that. But again, I am excited to see actually like when the red comes into play. So he may be one of the first upgrade videos I do, just for the simple fact I want to see when that takes effect, and then we'll run from there. But that is that on the upgrades. We're going to take a look at quests. Pretty generic, mundane, repetitive. Defeat 1,000 enemies, eat 15 pieces of fruits. Don't take damage outside story mode. Win 10 PvP. If for whatever reason you didn't like Prism Break, you think he's slow, plodding, not effective or something, totally maxed out, makes you fully upgrade the guy, get him to level 20, which means you've got to play with him fully maxed out, and it hopefully changes your mind. Deal 7,500 bonus damage there. Earth specific, the two big ones in my opinion. Savior of the Land. Free the Terra Squid in twisty tunnels without switching Skylanders. That's a lot like the tech characters having to defeat Glumshanks without switching. Right here, unearth or use shovels to dig a total of 25 holes. I've yet to come across a shovel in the playthrough. Probably going to be just like the fishing deal though. And then right here, Prism Break's big one. It's his personal quest. Bifurcation Sensation. Defeat 100 enemies using Crystal Eruption. Obviously, if you come in and you get the Crystallier path, it'll make it a little bit easier because you should do more damage and it's more likely to kill the enemies on the first impact. Otherwise, it's just done with a second purchased upgrade. Shouldn't be too difficult. That's a pretty powerful attack. So, that said, we're going to back out of there. That is pretty much it for Hyper Beam Prism Break. Again, I'm excited to actually kind of see if Crystal Comrade is like only applicable, when you like shoot, or if the beam stays green and just what shrapnels off is red. It's all kind of unknown to me. Again, I don't watch other people's videos. I don't explore this stuff ahead of time. It's all blind and new to me. And if I were here playing by myself, not recording, I would be wondering that actually if I was doing that, I would go get the money right now and find out. But as is, I try to record it, to kind of help everyone out. But pretty intrigued by that. I'm kind of excited to see how it pans out. That said, what I'm even more excited about is getting this next introduction done. It will be Earth Element Swapper, our very first Earth Element Swapper. Doomstone not available. Got to get Rubble Rouser on. That should net us some other accolades. Most notably, we've got him and Grilla Drilla. And then Stink Bomb will get us some because we'll have one of each ability. So that said, I'm going to save that. It should be a lot of fun. I'm going to get that done. I may actually edit and upload those tonight and then kind of backload this playlist, kind of do it in reverse order. Not 100% sure on that yet, but if that's the case, you'll be seeing this Prism Break video pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to check out the blog, oneofwisdom.com. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Again, thanks for watching, and I will catch you back here for part 53 and the introduction of Rubble Rouser.